Alright, let me see if I can get this stuff shaking. Alright. So I originally planned to do this from my laptop using this webcam and all this stuff, but anyways, I lost my charger to my Mac, so I'm gonna have to order another one on Amazon. Until then, I'm stuck with my phone. So anyways, I figured I'll just do this with my phone because it's still good information, and while I have it fresh on my mind, I wanted to share this because if there is a law of compensation, right, then it would be a good idea to understand this law, right, so we can earn more money, right? And there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich, and the reason why I read this book, The Science of Getting Rich, was because I was so freaking broke after going out of business and being in debt, and just I figured if there's a science to this, might as well learn it, right? So I gave the book a read, or a listen actually, because it was an audiobook. And I remember just thinking, this guy's a con artist, you know, what a scam. And I was like, this is just what a sham, you know. I was like wasting my time listening to this, because all it talked about was becoming a better person. You know, and I was like, what? I thought I was gonna learn strategies. I thought it was gonna give me money techniques and stuff, but no, it just and here's the thing, the book started off by saying, and the second time I listened to it, the second time around, it really resonated much more. And they say Bob Proctor was the one that said it. Well, he's the one that I heard it from. It may not be his original quote, but anyways, he was saying that when you read a book the second time, you don't see something in the book that wasn't there before. You see something in yourself that wasn't there before. And that's really true. The second time around, I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, how come I didn't hear this the first time, you know? And the book starts off by saying that it's actually noble. The desire to get rich, the desire to be wealthy, it's actually a very noble desire. It's the desire to stretch, to try to do as much as you can, to try to become as much as you possibly can while you're here on earth. That is a very noble desire. You know, it's not something we should be ashamed of or feel guilty about, to want more. You know, it's actually a very noble desire to want to be all you can be, you know, to try to stretch as much as you can and try to accomplish as much as you can here on earth. Oh, hold on 1 second. Getting some messages. Let me just turn that on silent. There we go. Because, you know, when you get famous like me, I'm kidding. I'm just saying. That really was a message for us, a groomer. But anyway, so I'm getting these kind of questions a lot from groomers. I mean, just this message that just came in, I didn't really look at it, but just from how it started, it sounds like another groomer asking what I think about their price and all this stuff, you know? And so here's the thing. Even myself, when I got a selfie with Sue Zecco and Jay Scruggs, the two groomers that I really looked up to, I still do. I still have a lot of respect for them. I still really like them. But my point is, after I got a selfie with them and I put it on my Facebook page, my Instagram and everything, not a single one of my clients mentioned it. Not a single one. Nobody knew who they were even, you know? And the thing is, I never got a client who said, here's an extra $20 tip. I saw that selfie you took with Jay Scruggs. You know, no, it never happens. So, so then what should we really, you know, what should we focus on? What should we concentrate on? If it's not getting endorsed by a certain groomer or a certain grooming company, if it's not getting in the right clique with the right groomers, you know, that you hang out with or that got your back or whatever, if none of these are really what we should be concerned with, then what should we really focus our attention on and spend our time and energy on? You know, is there something that we could be doing to earn more money? Yes, there is. It's called the law of compensation, and I'm going to share it with you. And here we go. I'm going to write it down on this whiteboard here. So, hopefully it's not backwards again. Let me see. Is that backwards? Well, yeah, it is backwards. Okay, so let me write backwards here then. Rosalinda! What's up, Rosalinda? How are you? Okay, so I'm going to have to write backwards here then. So it would be L-A-W. I'm writing backwards. Okay, so law of, shoot, this is gonna be tough. Compensation. Is that law of yeah, there you go. The law of compensation, okay? Oh man. Now this is gonna be a little tough. So the first rule is I have bad handwriting to begin with, but to write backwards is pretty freaking tough. Okay, need for what you, oh man, I'm getting pretty good at this, do, okay? So, okay, need for, so the first law of compensation is the need for what you do, okay? And, or sell, okay? So it could be a service or a product, the need for what you're providing. If you're providing a service or a product or a tool or whatever it is, the first rule, so Bob Proctor said, your ability to earn an income, right? The amount that you earn is in direct ratio to these three laws. The first one being the need for what you do. Is there a need for what you do, right? So let's just say that you want to do hand scissoring and charge more, charge $150, $175 per dog, because you're hand scissoring everything and you're doing all of this, but you live in an area that's just, nobody wants that in your area. There's two groomers that I met, Dana and Sue, and they groom out of Sue's home. It's a home-based shop, and she has a very low clientele. Dana is actually picking up a lot more clients now, but they have enough, and it's like a big small town, they were telling me, and it's like kind of out in the country, and a lot of her clients don't want the hand scissoring and all that stuff. They're country dogs and stuff, so let's just say that you live in an area where nobody wants to pay $120, $150 for a haircut. They have these Shih Tzus and they all just want them shaved down. Let's just say that you live in an area where that's all they want. Lisa, sorry to hear that, Rosalinda. Oh, what's wrong with Rosalinda? In a lot of pain. Oh no, I'm sorry about that, Rosalinda. Oh man. Yeah, I hope you feel better, man. I don't know what to say. That sucks. I understand pain though. Like when I had my two herniated discs and they're ruptured on, two herniated ruptured discs, L4, L5, L5S1, the two on the bottom, excruciating pain. It's better now, and I don't even know why, and I don't want to jinx it. But it was to the point where I was supposed to get surgery, get metal plates, and anyways, I completely understand. Pain is such a lonely place, and the crazy thing is, I felt like such a burden to everybody I was around because I was always in pain. I couldn't move really. I couldn't do anything. And I was always complaining about it. And so I just didn't want to hang out with anybody because I didn't want to be a burden to anybody. But then anytime I would be around anybody, my family even, I tried to explain the pain to them. And then it occurred to me, no matter how well I explain this pain to them, no matter how eloquently I explain it and they really get a clear idea of what I'm feeling, they still can't feel it. I'm the only one that can feel it, and I have to go through it alone. I realize that, and it's like, wow, I realize anybody who's going through pain, chronic pain, it's such a lonely place, and I feel for you. Let's see, Patty, sounds like my area. Yeah, Patty, I remember Patty was telling me that as well. Nobody really wants all that hand scissoring and stuff in her area. Lovey's dog grooming. I want to watch, but I'll have to tune back in later. Hi, June. Oh, what's up, lovies? How are you? Rosalind, I was born with neurofibromatosis 1. Oh man, I'm not even gonna pretend to know what that is, but I'm really sorry that you're going through that. Hopefully this will take your mind off of things, just seeing somebody who's an idiot, who has flopped around and failed so many times. I accidentally tripped onto something that works, and I'm actually doing well now. But Patty says, "Oh, I hope you feel better soon. I understand your pain. I deal with it on a daily basis. I'm getting a hernia redone in the stomach on the 12th. Oh my goodness. Wow. We're all going through some pain. We're all going through some suffering. And that's just how life is set up, I guess, you know? And, you know, I'm not going to get into like whether I think that's right or wrong, you know? I guess whenever I get to set up my own planet, you know, I'll probably set up things a little differently. But it seems like here on this planet, here on Earth, that's just how it's set up. You know, everyone has to go through some pain and some suffering. And I think the if I wanted to try to find the positive in that, is that we can relate to each other better. You know, because I went through that pain, and I know what it feels like to contemplate just ending it all. I actually took a handful of pills, Lortabs, because I wanted stronger pills and they wouldn't give them to me. And my doctor kept telling me that I was going to become addicted to opioids and stuff. And so he reduced me down from hydrocodone to Lortabs. And then he started to give me 800 milligram ibuprofen. I was like, ibuprofen? I was like, what the WTF, man? I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm asking you to give me something stronger. You're giving me stuff, you know? And he kept telling me, you gotta exercise. Anyways, where I was going with that is that I think by going through pain and suffering, we are better able to empathize and connect and feel a little bit more connected with other people who go through pain as well. Because if we never go through anything that's painful, or we never suffer through anything, it's really hard to be relatable, you know, to relate to anyone else. So. And I'm not saying that I'm glad that you're going through pain or anything like that. I'm just saying that sometimes it's through our pain we're able to connect with others much better, much easier, because we suffered through something similar. The suffering helps us connect, and you know that's the only good thing that I can see out of why there's so much pain and suffering in this world. You know, you know what though? Just a little bit off topic. I had a dream where and I told this story before, but if you haven't heard it, I had a dream one time where I met this being, this God being. Hey, what's up, Stacia? Oh, hold on. Okay. And this God being asked me, do you really want to know the answer to life? The meaning to life? Why there's all this suffering? Why it seems so unfair? Why life can seem so cruel and so unfair, and just why is it, why, you know, I just wanted to know the answer to life, the meaning to all of this, you know. And the God being, because it wasn't a man, Alan Watts said that one of the astronauts who went out the furthest in space that anybody else has gone out to, when he came back, someone asked him a question, when you were out that far in space, did you see God? And he said, yes, she's black. Anyways, so this God being was like, are you sure you want to know the answer to life and everything? Because once you know, you can't go back to not knowing. You know, are you sure? And I was like, of course I'm sure. My whole life I've been searching, you know, reading the Bible, reading other holy texts, and studying other religions. Like, just try to find the answer, you know? Like, of course I want to know the answer. And as soon as he showed it to me, as soon as this God being showed me the answer to life and everything, it just clicked. And I was just like, oh, I don't even want to know now. And I was like, because now life is no fun, you know? Like, I didn't want to go back to living because it seemed so boring now, because I knew why this was all happening, and it just seemed so unpleasurable, like I don't know, just uninteresting. You know, I just wasn't interested anymore. But I wanted to go back because my family, my daughters, and everything. And so I was trying to forget. And this God being was like, "You can't unknow what you know." And I was like, "Oh man, why did I try so hard to know?" And so, anyways, I woke up. And I remember I woke up and the dream was starting to become a little fuzzy. You know how the dream starts to go away? You can remember bits and pieces when you wake up, and I was like forcing myself to think about something else. Think about something during the day that I had to do or something, right? And I was like, forget the dream, forget the dream, forget the dream. And then literally I forgot the dream, and I can't tell you what I saw, that was like the answer to life. And I'm so great. I've never felt so happy to forget a dream than that moment. And I remember waking my wife up, and I was sweating even. I was sweating, and I was like, I found out the answer to life. Oh man, there's been so many times where she just rolled her eyes, you know, because I'm always talking this crazy stuff. And so she was like, "What is it?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, that's like the best part is I don't remember. I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot it." And I was like, and I was explaining to her how as soon as I knew, I was just full of regret because it's like going to a basketball game and already knowing who's gonna win. You know, it's like, who cares if you already know who's gonna win the Super Bowl is not that exciting. You know, you know, of course, if you're betting, it would be nice to know. But what I'm saying is, you know, like watching it over again after the game's already happened and you saw the game live, and then watching a recording of it again, it's just not that exciting anymore because you know what's going to happen, right? And I think that the uncertainty of life, not knowing, is what makes life worth living because we don't know why all this is happening. And I think that's kind of the point, you know, and we're figuring it out together, you know. Anyways, sorry I got off on that tangent. I just thought it was kind of, you know, it might help, you know, Rosalinda, just knowing that you're probably going through this for a reason. All the pain and you know, everything that you're going through. Patty, you as well. You know, we don't know why we have to go through all this suffering and this pain and all this misery, you know, and just life gets really hard sometimes, and it's easy to ask ourselves why me, and why does this have to happen? I think that not knowing is what makes it meaningful, because if we knew the answer, we might be disappointed because it's so simple, you know. Anyways, so back to the law of compensation. So number one is the need for what you do. What if you live in an area where, like, I'm fortunate. I love hand scissoring. I love fluffing the dogs out and doing nice teddy bear cuts and doing all that. And I charge $120, $150. You know, and some people pay me more. But what if you live in an area where no one wants that? That's just not your market, right? The market is not it doesn't need what you do, right? Let's say they want all sevens, all, you know, shave downs, right? Well then, you can still use this, because if all you're doing are shave downs all day long, right? And everyone else is doing a 7 all over, right? Head to toe 7, just a 7 blade, 7 all over. Well, you can say, well, I'm gonna do things just a little different. I'm gonna do 7 on the body, blend it into a 4 or a 2 comb on the legs, and then maybe run a 1 comb, you know, back and forth all over the head, and then make a nice tidy round head. And, you know, then your shave downs will look a little better, like it'll pop a little bit more than everyone else's, and you start to stand, your shave downs start to stand out. You put your unique signature on it, right? Now, people are gonna be like, oh my God, what's that? I like that. You know, it's still short, it's still, you know, easy to maintain, but there's some style to it, there's a flair to it, you know? So then people will be like, whoa, who did your dog? Oh, so-and-so at that shop. Oh, then I want that, you know? So now you start to create a need for what you're doing, just by doing things a little different than everyone else, you know? You don't have to do a 7 all over just because it says 7 all over. You can modify it a little bit. Do a 7 on the body, a 2 comb on the legs, you know, tidy it up with your scissors, and then do a 1 comb all over the head, make it a nice round tight head, and scissor it nice and round. And now your shave down looks so much better than everyone else in the shop. And now you're creating a need for what you do. So that's what you want. You want people to you want there to be a need for what you do. Notice things, look for things, right? Patty says, what sucks is this will be my 19th surgery overall, and I'm only 43. Man, that does suck. Seriously, wow, I can only imagine. But, you know, like I said, Patty, if you knew why you had to go through this, it might take the fun out of all of it. You know, and I'm not saying that what you're going through is fun, but I'm just saying, like, you know, maybe there is a reason why you're going through all of this. You just don't know right now. You know, when I lost my business, and I went severely in debt, and I was so scared, I was terrified. I had 2 young children, 2 young girls, you know. At that time, I felt so angry and so resentful towards the world and everything. But looking back on it now, I can actually help groomers who are going through something similar. And when they reach out to me, you know, when I spend my time to listen and talk to them and share some ideas, it means more to them, because I'm not some condescending or some aloof, you know, person who's never gone through it. You know, I went through it, and when I talk to them, they can feel the genuineness in my voice, that I really do care, and I really do understand how it feels and how scary it is. You know, and I feel blessed now. Now I feel blessed that I went through all of that. He says, there is something we aren't meant to know while we were in it. Exactly. So, Patty, just hang in there. You know that, you know, you have something special. When we were talking, I got the feeling that you know it too. I see it and you know it. You've got something special inside. Something that, you know, like something so special that even the landscapers, even the people that were working on the outside, asked for your card and spread them around to all the people that he was working with. You've got something special in you. I see it. You feel it. So just have faith that everything that you're going through right now, all this pain, all the surgeries, it's got to be for something. You know, and I don't think that God would put these tests in front of you if He didn't think that you could handle it. You're going through a little bit more than others may, because your strength of character, because God sees that you can handle this, and it might be preparing you to do some greater thing in the future. You know, just like me, like I think one of the greatest accomplishments in my life is having groomers tell me that after talking with me, they decided not to take their own life. They decided that life was worth living, and they reignited a passion for grooming dogs, and now they love what they do. To me, that's probably the greatest accomplishment in my life, seriously. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not failed my business over and over again and gone in so much debt. Had I not failed so much and gone through so much pain and suffering and fear, I don't think that I would have had it in me. I wouldn't have had the necessary experiences. I wouldn't have had the vocabulary. I wouldn't have been able to genuinely offer the things that I had to offer had I not gone through all that first. So now I look back on all the things that I thought were the worst things that ever happened to me in my life. Now I look back on it and I'm grateful. I'm grateful it happened to me, because now I have this bag of experiences with me that I can share with others that's actually meaningful to them. But anyways, so number one, the need for what you do. And as dog groomers, I think we have a very huge advantage, because everyone has a dog and every dog needs to be groomed. Whether it's a short-haired dog or a long-haired dog, all dogs need grooming. They might not even need a haircut, but they need grooming, right? They need to be brushed, nails done. Even short-haired dogs need to be washed, and long-haired dogs need a haircut. So, and almost every household in America has a dog, or 2 or 3. So as dog groomers, this first law, I think we already have a huge advantage. The need for what we do, everybody needs a good groomer. So already we got an advantage. And if you feel like the style that you groom, you know, your personal style, you do a lot of hand stripping, but nobody wants hand stripping in your area, nobody's requesting it. Well, then the next time you get a dog, and you can tell it's like a spaniel or a terrier, it's a breed that could use some hand stripping. Just do a little hand stripping, you know, on the body and the legs, and You know, if on a King Charles Cavalier, they could use a lot of stripping around here, you know, the discolored hair. And so just do it. Whether they're paying you extra for it or not, just start doing it, just a little bit. Maybe not a full hand strip or anything, but just start doing some hand stripping just to get a nice texture, a nice smooth texture along the body, the neck here. It's not bumpy anymore, you know. And then when the client picks up, they're gonna be like, oh wow, this is a little bit different. It's nicer, like, and then they start requesting you. And then as you start getting more and more people requesting you, you're building a need for what you do. Okay, so that's rule number one. The need for what you do. The second law of compensation, oh shoot. Okay, oh that looks horrible. Okay, so number two, oh, shoot. Does that look like a number? Okay, it kind of looks like a number two. I'm trying to do it backwards. Okay, number two, it looks like okay, number two, right? So the first one is need for what you do. Second one is your ability to do it. Okay? So the competence, your level of competence in how well you do it, right? So that's number two. Number one, the need for what you do. You know, is there a need for what you do? Yes. If there's not, create one, right? Create the need for what you do by first offering it, doing more than what you're being paid to do. So Jim Rohn says that our personal philosophy is the major key to our better future, our personal philosophy. And he's saying your personal philosophy is like the set of the sail. And he says you cannot control the wind. The wind that blows on us all. The wind of disappointment, the wind of physical pain and suffering, the wind of heartache and heartbreak and betrayal. You know, the wind that blows on us all. You cannot control the wind, but you can set a better sail. You can learn to set a better sail. So no matter what the wind blows, no matter which way it blows, no matter what comes, we can still continue on to our destination, right? So education time. Yeah, right? I just wanted to share this idea because I'm getting a lot of groomers, especially newer groomers, I feel like asking the wrong questions, right? The thing is, we all want to make more money. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, there's everything right with that. Wanting to make more money, to be able to take care of your family better, to be able to grow more, to be more generous and charitable and donate. You need money to do these things. So it's a very noble desire to want to make more money. Delaney says, what's your personal philosophy? So my personal philosophy, I've adopted from Jim Rohn. So he's saying one philosophy says, if this is all they'll pay, then this is all I'll do. You know, no one's going to take advantage of me. You know, if you're not going to pay me, then I'm not going to do it. If this is all they pay, this is all I'll do. I'm not coming in early. I'm not staying late. I'm never going the extra mile. And you better believe I'm going to take that full hour for lunch. Plus 15-minute travel time both ways. You know, that's one philosophy. And that's okay. The other philosophy says, no matter what I am paid, no matter what they pay me, I am always going to bring my best. I am always going to do my best. I'm always going to go the extra mile. And I adopted that second philosophy about 7 years ago, about 6 years ago actually. And my life has completely changed. And Jim Rohn says that if you will just forget about the money and just serve your clients to the best of your ability, they will take you by the hand and lead you to doors that you would never be able to open yourself. You never would have even imagined that these doors were even possible for you. But your clients, these people that you serve wholeheartedly, and they really feel taken care of, they really feel like you cared about them, and you understood their needs, and you really went above and beyond. This moves people, it touches their heart, and they will take you by the hand, and they will open doors for you you never could have opened yourself. Patty says, yes, he is a great teacher. Oh, nice. Awesome. I try. I'm actually not a great teacher at all. I'm just sharing stuff that I feel like is very helpful to me. Oh, wow, I'm getting comments. I'm getting Anyways, so number 2, your ability to do it. So your competence level, right? And so this one here, I recommend 2 books. One is called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. In the book Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell outlines the 10,000 hour rule and how anybody who was great throughout history, anyone, Kobe Bryant, even Bill Gates, everyone, he breaks down and shows how there are no accidental successes. They all put in 10,000 hours into their craft. Mozart, same thing. Mozart started composing when he was 7 years old. So by the time he was 17 and he composed some of his more famous, orchestras, symphonies, he already had 10,000 hours under his belt, before he ever wrote anything that was of note, right? That was remarkable or worthy of, any kind of acclaim, right? Mozart wrote several symphonies, so many of them, ever since he was 7 years old, before he wrote anything that was worth taking a second listen to, So anyways, okay, so Outliers is the first book that I would recommend. Outliers. Oh, is that? Yeah. S. There we go. Outliers. So that's the first book I would recommend, Outliers. So 10,000 hours is all you really need. Just practicing your scissor skills, learning to hold the scissors correctly, and just moving that thumb and controlling it, right? Going different ways with it, up and down, side to side. Really learning how to control those shears. Studying videos of dogs that are properly groomed. Studying the pictures. Google image. If you're about to groom a Westie one day, Google Westie champions. And don't just Google Westie images, because then you'll get all kinds of Westies. You want to train your eye to recognize a properly groomed Westie, one that would actually win the show. So you would Google Westie champion and look at the Google images. If you're grooming a Bichon even, Bichon champions, Poodle champions, look at the best of the best and train your eye to recognize that, right? Okay, so I don't know if this is true or not, but when I was younger, this was in the 80s when I first heard this story. There's a department in the government where these guys were specially trained to pick out counterfeit bills, and they could pick out bills that even machine scanners would miss. These guys would pick it up, and the way they did that was that they only when people ask them how are you so good at picking out counterfeit bills, they say they only study the real bill. They never look at a counterfeit bill. They only spend all their time studying every square inch of the real bill. They never look at the counterfeits. So they're able to spot, the counterfeits, and they know what a real bill looks like because that's all they spend their time looking at. Same thing with dog groomers. Don't ruin your eyes, right? By looking at counterfeits. By looking at just pet grooms and things like that. Train your eye, and by only looking at the champions, the dogs that actually won Best in Show, and so that you can start to ingrain it in your mind, so that the next time you do a Westie or Bichon or Poodle or whatever it is you're doing, you have all these images in your mind of what they really could look like, right? And once you have the finished image in your mind, then all you got to do is have the control, the scissor skills to be able to execute that. And that takes about 10,000 hours. Delaney, I agree 100%. Starting early as putting your head down and working will give you razor sharp advantage. Exactly. Anna Canny says, love how you speak. Train your eye. Exactly. Train your eye to only look at, only be able to recognize the real thing, not the counterfeits, okay? And then so Outliers, it's the 10,000 rule, 10,000 hour rule, the 10K rule.
Here's the beautiful thing. Once you get the 10,000 hours under your belt, this one guy in my Toastmasters meeting, he's saying it's at-bats. How many at-bats do you have? And he's saying the more at-bats you have, the better you will be at your swing. And I swing like I know what I'm doing. I don't. I went to a batting cage one time, and I think it was 65 miles per hour. I could not see the damn thing. I could not see it. It just, and I was like, there's got to be a hole in this bat somewhere. Like, I personally can't. But like Mark said, at my fellow Toastmaster, if I went every single day and I kept doing it, then I would get better. It's just inevitable, So same thing. Once you get the 10,000 hours under your belt, no one can take that away from you. Like for example, I made the mistake of publicly calling out some groomers in the industry that have a lot of pull, that have a lot of weight, that have a lot of influence. I called them out and said they were full of shit and all this stuff, and I made a mistake. I just gotta admit, that was a mistake. Okay, don't do that. Anybody watching, don't do that. Don't live your life like me, okay? You can avoid all of the mess that I went through. Don't do that, okay? But my point is, even though I did do that and I made a mistake, none of my clients that enjoy my work, that need what I do, and they like how I do it, right? And I have 10,000 hours under my belt of just doing this over and over again, right? Being able to do this nice round Bijan head and all this stuff, right? Nothing they say, nothing anybody says, no matter how big they are in the industry, or no matter if they blacklisted me, right? And they ban me from attending any of their trade shows anymore, so there's ballots going around right now, people getting nominated for different stuff in the industry. I used to get it in my email. I didn't get it this year. So I don't care. The thing is, no matter what, nobody can take these 10,000 hours away from you once you earn the 10,000 hours. So the need for what you do, your ability to do it. So Outliers is the first book I would recommend by Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 Hour Rule. Next one that I would recommend is Mastery by Robert Greene. Mastery. Does that say Mastery? Can you see? Okay, yeah, it does. No, the S is backwards. So, Mastery. There we go. It's called Mastery by Robert Greene. And he talks about the 10,000 hour rule as well. He mentions it in his book. What I really like about Robert Greene's book, Mastery, is that he goes into detail about how most people will never reach mastery because they're unwilling to go through the tedious part. The tedious, monotonous, boring, unsexy part of getting your mastery, getting the 10,000 hours. It's unenjoyable. You have to suffer through it. He even uses those words. You have to suffer through it. It's painful a lot of the times. It's tedious. It's monotonous, and a lot of times it's behind closed doors. No one's gonna give you any recognition. It's all done behind closed doors, and it gets boring. It's boring work. It really is. It's unsexy. But to be able to push yourself through that, and in order to push yourself through that, you have to really love what you're doing. And that's why Steve Jobs, in his commencement speech, he said, you have to love what you do, because even when you love what you do, you're gonna have those days where it's just hard and you don't really like doing it. But it's that love for what you do that will pull you through those hard times. So if you really love grooming, and here's a great tip that I would like to share. If you're a new groomer, right, and you are having these days where it's really tough and you feel like you're not really getting it, picture to yourself what you would look like if you were a really skilled groomer who has gained mastery. You're skilled, you are able to execute these cuts no matter what. You're a confident, skilled groomer. What would that look like?
how would you behave? How would you carry yourself? How would you feel? And be that, right? And I remember the first time I actually thought about that. How would I look? What would that look like if I were a skilled, confident groomer? What would that look like? How would I carry myself? How would my behavior be any different? You know? And how would I approach the dog? How would I approach the day? And then I started to act like that. I started to behave that way. Because if you want to be successful, then be a successful person. Behave like one, right? And it's not things that you do. You have to just be it. We are human beings, not human doings, right? If you want to be happy, choose to be happy. You don't do happy, you know? So that's one thing that I really helped. I just kept visualizing, what would I look like? How would I behave? Would it be any different? How would I carry myself? How would I feel inside if I was a skilled, confident groomer, competent groomer, right? And then carry yourself that way, you know? And literally invite that person inside, you know, that successful, confident, skilled groomer. Invite them in and let them take over. Okay, so the third rule. So right now we got the first two, and you know, remember, your income, the amount of money you earn, is in direct ratio to these three things. First, the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the book Outliers and Mastery are two great books to read or listen to on audiobook. That will give you ideas on how to increase your ability to do your craft, right? And then, number 3. Is that right? Right, Wayne? Let me hide this. Hide that. Okay, perfect. Number 3. So number 3 would be, okay, I gotta remind myself. Okay, that's right. The difficulty, oh shoot. Difficulty in replacing. Replacing you. Is that replacing you? Okay, so how difficult would it be to replace you? That is number 3. And there's a book called Linchpin, How to Become Indispensable, right? Becoming Indispensable, by Seth Godin. I talk about Seth Godin a lot because I really, really love the way he thinks. But the book is called Linchpin. Lynch is it's Lynchpin. Linchpin by Seth Godin. Linchpin talks about this very concept. How difficult would it be to replace you? How to become somebody who is indispensable, a linchpin. This is not just another cog in the wheel. This is not just somebody who is easily replaced in the company. This is somebody, if you lose them, the company will feel it. Not only the company, but the clients, the customers they deal with, everyone will feel it if they lose this person. That is the kind of person you want to become. So the need for what you do, which is dog grooming, and then you can pick a specific style, you know? And I suggest really working on your scissor skills, because having good scissor skills and being able to really carve out, you know, and sculpt a beautiful round head and a beautiful round feet, this really sets you apart. Okay, in MMA, in mixed martial arts, they say that having good ground skills, either jiu-jitsu or wrestling, you know, but being a good grappler, having a good set of skills on the ground,
it opens up your game and you're able to take more risks. And you're able to do like spinning back kicks, flying knees, all of these things that just dazzle the audience. You're able to do these things because you're not afraid of getting taken down, right? And so having good ground skills, it opens up all the other areas of your game. Same thing with the grooming, with scissor skills. I think having good scissor skills opens your whole game up and you're able to take more risks, because if you accidentally make a dip with your clippers, or you accidentally, the dog moves and you cut, scissor a little hole, you know, you're able to fix that a little, you know, and make it less noticeable if you have good scissor skills. You're not afraid of getting taken down, you know, because you have scissor skills. So having good scissor skills, I think, will help. And also, here's the thing. Just because you're a groomer doesn't make you an artist. And Seth Godin talks about this in his book, Lynchpin. What is an artist, right? So Seth Godin is saying that just because you're a painter doesn't make you an artist. There's a city in China called Dafan where he says that every single day these painters paint the same painting over and over and over again. They just pump them out, right? He has a painting of these monkeys that he bought from that city, you know, the Dauphin, and he's saying it cost him $60, you know, and it's just the same painting that anybody else that bought that painting got. It's just replicated over and over again. And it's a very talented painter, you know, to be able to do that. But they're not an artist. They're not creating anything new. They're not being generous with their work. They're not taking a risk, you know. He's saying that you can buy the Mona Lisa there for $30, but it's not the Mona Lisa. So he's saying no matter what it is you do, you can be an artist. An artist is even the receptionist at a big company who makes the person calling feel welcome and appreciated. They feel like they're being treated like a human being, you know? He's saying she's an artist by the way she's doing her work. He brings the example of a plumber who first designed the urinal. He installed it in a museum. He's an artist because he created something new, something different. Now men can stand while they, you know, go to the restroom. You know, and people could have said, we don't like this new thing. You know, we like for all men to sit and pee. You know, it could have not worked. It was something very new. That was what makes him an artist. He created something new and installed it in a museum. The second guy to install a urinal, he's a plumber. He's not an artist. He's a plumber because he's just doing something that's already been proven. You know, people who sing cover bands. You know, bands who play other bands' songs. You know, like there's cover bands for Green Day, Sublime. They're very talented singers. Don't get me wrong. They're very talented, and I enjoy listening to cover bands as well. But they're not artists. The band that first made those songs, that first wrote those songs and performed them, they're artists, right? But the people who sing the songs that are already proven, that already have an audience, that already have people saying, yes, we love those songs, they're not artists. They're not taking a chance. They're not taking a risk by creating something that people might say, we don't like that. We don't like you. Because that's how it feels to an artist. But taking that chance, making yourself vulnerable, and there's a element of generosity in your work, right? That's what makes an artist an artist. Just because you're a talented painter or a talented singer or even a talented groomer doesn't make you an artist. An artist is someone who does human work that matters for people who care, and they do it in a way that's risky. You know, they make themselves vulnerable. They say, here, I made this, I put my heart into it, I hope you like it. Knowing full well that there's a chance the person they're offering it to might say, no, I don't really like it, try again, you know? Willing to take that hurt, willing to take that rejection, but still putting your whole heart into it. And that's what creates that element of generosity in your work. And so that's what makes you a linchpin, an indispensable. How difficult would it be? Oh my goodness. So today even, I told my client,
there's a couple of positions I've been offered, and nothing. We're still kind of just in the, exploratory phase. We're just exploring options and kind of negotiating right now. But I was telling her, I might, if things go well, I might take a position as a grooming instructor, And she was like, "You're not leaving us, are you?" She was like, "You're not gonna move, are you?" And I was like, "I mean, yeah, both of these positions are in 2 different states, And she was like, "You can't." She was like, "You can't leave us," She's like, "What are we gonna do?" And that really, it's good and bad. It's bittersweet because it's like, oh my goodness, I feel so appreciated. I feel so valued, and I appreciate that she doesn't want me to go anywhere. But then it's like, but what if this is a really good opportunity for me to actually be a grooming instructor? That would be amazing. But anyways, I think that a lot of my clients feel that same way. Like, you better not go anywhere. Like, it would be very difficult to replace me. Not because the grooms I do. Another talented groomer can do the same haircuts that I do, but not the way I do it, not the way I show up. And they probably won't say the same corny jokes that I say, and they probably won't act as weird as I do and awkward, but I'm myself, and they love that I'm me. And yeah, I've become indispensable to my clients. I'm a linchpin, for a very select few. I don't groom for the masses, I groom for a few. And the few that I groom for, I feel extremely lucky to be their groomer. And I'm sure the feeling is mutual. I'm sure they feel very lucky to be my client. So, and that's all I really need. And I do work that matters for a few people who care. And I feel fulfilled. And they pay me very well. They pay me very well. So, how did that happen? It happened because, Barbie says, I'm a Petco mentor. The smiles and girls people I get to help make it worth it. Barbie, I'm a fan. Seriously. I don't know if you've been noticing me creeping on all your posts. I'm a fan. Hey girl. I'm kidding. Your husband's not watching this, is he? Anyways. Oh, you know what though? I'm just joking. Everybody knows I play around a lot. This weekend in Houston, I was a very good boy. I promise. I was a very, very good boy. I was proud of myself even. I was like, what? I did? I was a very good boy. Anyways, so the law of compensation, just to cover this one more time. Okay, that's just I'm a Petco mentor. I love my customers and the people that I train. It's very fulfilling. Barbie says, I noticed. Ha 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 ha! Oh, really? Oh man. Well, that's not cool. I thought I was being a little more subtle. Because I don't like all of them. I don't like all of them, but I... Anyways, Barbie, we're on my business page right now. If you can kind of not make me look like such a creep. Okay, so the law of compensation. Number 1. So your ability to earn money, right? Your ability to earn a compensation and the level of compensation that you earn. Barbie says, no worries, my girls at work joke about it too. Oh my god, they joke about how I'm creeping on your page? Huh. Is it that obvious? Anyways, oh my goodness. Well, if it's out in the open, girl, if you ever come to your senses and you ever want... I'm kidding. Anyways, so... Oh man, I can't believe... Okay, so I have a small crush. So what? I'm human. I'm a human being. Okay? Anyways, Bina B, you're liking this a little bit too much, Bina. Barbie, you're awesome, and we all love what you do. It's so helpful. Nice.
She didn't say no. You guys see this? She didn't say no. So I have a chance. I have a chance is what she's saying. Anyway, that's code word. You're awesome and we all love what you do. You're so helpful. That's code for June, you got a shot. That's all I need. Anyways, so your level of income and how much compensation you earn for your services is in direct ratio of these three things. This is the law of compensation. The need for what it is you do, right? If there is no need for what you do, you're not gonna get paid much. So if you really believe in what you're doing, you have to create a need in the marketplace. How do you do that? You first create a need by offering what it is you want to offer almost for free. You know, of course you're gonna get paid, but you're not gonna get paid what it's worth in the beginning if there's no need for it in the marketplace. So for example, if everyone in your area is asking for a 7 all over, you know, they just want all their Shih Tzus, their Yorkies, all of these dogs, little dogs that come in, they just want them shaved down, right? That's all you're getting in your market. Well then, you can still shave them down. You can still do a 7, but just do it on their neck and their body, right? And start from here, from under their ear, their chin, and then, you know, their neck, and do a 7 all over their body, right? You like that, Barbie? Oh, I'm kidding. So, but a 7 all over their body, right? And then stop like right around here. Just kind of skim off their shoulders, and then from their shoulder and down their legs, do a little bit longer, like a 4 blade or a 2 comb, right? And then get a 1 comb and do their whole head, forward and backward with the 1 comb, get it nice and short, but not too short. Short, but not too short. You know, that's a common request, you know, short, but not too short. It's like, what is that? Anyways, do a 1 comb all over the head, and then with your scissors, give it a nice round shape, you know, shape the ears, you know, scissor the ears a little bit, and then your 7s, your dogs that are getting a 7 shave, it's gonna pop. It's gonna look so much better than a dog that just has 7 all the way down the legs and feet, and they look like rats walking on chicken legs. You know, it just looks horrible, in my opinion. You know, but if that's all that's going out in your shop, and you see that there is a possibility to offer something just a little bit different, you know, with a little bit more flair, a little bit more style, you know, that's something that would have your unique signature on your painting, on your art, you know. Every dog that walks out of your shop that's groomed by you has a little bit more style, a little bit more, you know, just detail in the work, right? It's not just, it doesn't look like someone just shaved everything down, right? Then people will start to take a notice and they'll start requesting you. Now you've created a need for what you do, right? But you're not able to do that unless you have the ability, you know, your competence level, you know, unless you're capable of doing something like that, you cannot create a need for what you do if you don't have an ability to do it well, right? So your ability to do your craft, your level of competency, how capable you are of doing a really good job, that is number 2. And in order to get better ideas on how to work on your ability to do what you do, how to increase your skills and gain mastery, there's a book called Mastery by Robert Greene. There's a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. These 2 books really helped me get really good ideas about how to increase my level of skills, right, that I offer. Last one, the difficulty in replacing you. How difficult would it be to replace you, to find another groomer like you, that does grooms the way you do it, that handles dogs the way you handle them, that talks to clients, that has customer service skills, and has that level of sensitivity of how to talk to clients well. You know, I remember this one shop, we had this guy, he kept calling people chief and boss, you know? Okay, chief, I got you. All right, boss. And it's like, I can understand if you're a bartender and you're talking like that, but I mean,
these people are just bringing in their dogs, and some of them are dressed nice in business attire, suit and tie and everything. He's like, all right, chief, you got it, chief. All right, boss. And it's like, I think sir would suffice. Like you don't have to. Zig Ziglar says, be friendly but not familiar. I love that. Be friendly but not familiar with your clients. I made the mistake of saying a off-color joke to one of my clients, and she took it well, but I could tell it made her uncomfortable. But she was saying, she was like, oh, after I groomed her dog, she was like, oh my God, June, can I be next? And her friend was there, it's just a joke. She's like, oh my God, June, she looks so, she looks perfect. Can I go next? And I said, only if I get to squeeze your anal glands. That was a flop. So if I can impart any wisdom to you guys tonight, never joke about squeezing a female's anal glands if you are a male groomer. You know what? I would even go a little bit further and say it's probably best not to ever joke about that, even if you're a female groomer. Even if you're a female groomer, probably not a good idea to joke about that with another female client, Let's see here. Patty says, yes, I agree, LOL. Anna County, I agree, just a little 7. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so, you know what though? What if I said that to a male client? I think maybe I won't throw that joke away. Maybe I'll just put it in my back pocket, right? And just not say it to female clients. But next time a guy says something like that, like, oh, Amber, June, yay, you're streaming. Yeah, I'm streaming. Barbie, just to the other groomers. Yeah, probably not a good idea to say it to your clients. But I'm thinking a male client, I probably could have got away with it, right? If it was a guy, he says, hey, June, what about me? Can you groom me next? I say, only if you let me squeeze your anal gland. No. Yeah, that wouldn't work either. Okay, so I'm just going to throw that joke away. I'm never going to use it again, male or female. So if you guys want to learn from my mistake, don't joke about anal glands with your clients or anything like that. Be friendly, not familiar. Okay, so the last one, how difficult would it be in replacing you? If you were to leave, if you were to not show up anymore, would they miss you? That's a good question to ask yourself. If I stopped showing up, would they miss me? And you want that answer to be yes, And a really good book to listen to or read is Lynchpin by Seth Godin. And all of this was written backwards, right? You guys read it, the screen is flipped. So it looks like a kindergarten student wrote this. I know my handwriting is messed up to begin with, but it's not this jacked up, I promise. I wrote all of this backwards, and that's why it looks like this. Just bear with me. But Lynchpin is a really good book on how to become indispensable, and that's the words that he uses. How to become indispensable. So you're not just another cog in the wheel. Beanie B. Joking about ball shaving is a good way to get creepy old men to shut up. Nice. But I don't know though, because I'm a creepy old man, right? I'm 38 years old. I get creepy. So yeah, if Bina, if you were to joke around, if you were to tell me like, oh, I'll shave your balls, I'll be like, oh, in the back? Are we doing this right now? Anyways, just no razor burns, please. Amber says, nah, wouldn't work male or female. Yeah, just going over it in my mind, role playing it. Yeah, saying it out loud, I realize whether it's a male or female, probably not a good joke. Patty, it's readable. It's readable. Thank you so much, Patty. So here it is, the law of compensation. How much you earn is in direct ratio with the need for what it is you do, the service you provide. Is it necessary? Do people need it? And how much do they need it? Because how much your service is needed it's in ratio to how much you earn. If it's not really needed, then you're not going to earn much. If it's very necessary and people really need it, then you can charge more. But not everyone's going to need it. You're not trying to sell it to everyone, just the people who really value it, right? My weed dealer, well, I promise, guys, I swear, I promise on my daughters, I do not smoke weed anymore. I promise. I did for a long time though, but because I'm an artist, okay? But anyways, and I wish it was for more noble reasons, but really it's because going through divorce is kind of, it's a lot more expensive than I thought, and I'm taking care, I changed my dog's diet, I'm buying, and so it really cut into my budget. So I'm having to prioritize things now, and so I cut it out. It's been a long time. So, but anyways, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think drug dealers have a lot to teach entrepreneurs, because the way he does business, it's awesome. So my friend, who was also my weed dealer, he didn't go around trying to just sell it to everyone, and he didn't give discounts, and he's not like like calling people up like, hey, you need it. No, he's only doing business with people who really value what he has and they need it, right? And their level of how, because they really need it, he's able to charge what he needs to charge in order to make a profit, So you're not trying to go around and sell your services to everyone. You're only trying to find the few people, the niche market, right? Of people that really value what it is you do, and the level of how much they need it is high. That way you can charge more because they value it, they appreciate it, and they don't feel like they're being charged more. They feel like this is a great value. But people who feel like they don't really need what you do and they don't really value it, doesn't matter what you charge, they're always going to feel like they're paying too much. So you don't want them. You want to find the market that needs what it is you do. Number 2, your ability to do your work well, the level of competency, your capability to do it. And in order to increase this, right, so you can increase your fee and you can charge more money and earn more, you want to increase your ability to do what it is you do. These 2 books, Outliers and Mastery, is really going to help. And they go really deep into the 10,000 rule, the 10,000 hours rule, getting 10,000 hours. And here's the thing, it's not just 10,000 hours of doing the work. No, that's just called clocking in, It's not just punching the clock, your punch card, your time card, and putting in 40 hours a week and adding that up. He's saying in an average 40-hour week, most people might only do 5 real hours of concentrated, focused practice hours where you're deliberately trying to get better at your craft. A lot of times we're just kind of going through the motions and just getting through the day. But if you can catch yourself and become more aware of what you're doing and really focus on what you're doing, every single dog you do, treat it as another opportunity to get some of those 10,000 hours in, right? And really focus on what you're doing. Pay attention. Ask yourself, why am I using this product? What is it really doing? Do I understand this product that I'm using? Why am I scissoring this way? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Could I do it a different way? Really focus and concentrate on what you're doing. Try to understand why you're doing what you're doing, and deliberately try to get better with every single dog that you groom, and then you will reach this 10,000 hour mark much faster. Instead of 10 years, 20 hours a week, you're doing the full 40 hours a week, and you can cut that down to 5 years, and within 5 years you'll gain mastery. And the reason why most people don't gain mastery is because during these 10,000 hours, it gets tedious, it gets painful, laborious, it sucks, and it's not sexy. But if you can get through that and really allow the passion for what you do, because Simon Sinek says working hard for what you don't for something you don't care about. Working hard at something you don't care about is called stress. But working hard at something you really care about is called passion. Either way, you're gonna work hard. Might as well work hard for something you really care about, right? And that passion will pull you through those tough hours, those tough times where it becomes really tedious and boring. And then, and no matter what it is you do, anytime you're trying to gain mastery at it, you're gonna run into those days where it's just boring and it sucks. But you gotta still focus and really, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he would literally throw up, and people would ask him, "Why are you putting yourself through this? I mean, this looks like torture. This looks like hell." And he would say, "Because I have a goal. I'm gonna be Mr. Olympia. I'm gonna be Mr. Universe. And I know that every single rep, every single set is bringing me closer to that goal." So he's like, "I love it, you know?" And then one guy was like, "I don't want to look like you though." And he said, "Don't worry, you won't." I love that, because he knows how hard he had to work, and he knows the pain and the suffering that he pushed through to get his body to look the way it is. So yeah, when the reporter was like, "But I don't want to look like you though," he said, "Don't worry, you won't." Anyways, the last thing is the difficulty it would be in replacing you. How difficult would it be to replace you? Are you just another cog in the wheel? Are you easily replaceable? Or would it really hurt the company? And would people look for you if you stop showing up? Would the clients that were used to bringing their dogs to you, would they say, "Hold up, where's Lindsay?" You know? And they say, "Oh, Lindsay is no longer here anymore. She no longer works with us." Well, where is she? I don't want anyone else grooming my dog. You know, tell me where she went. We don't really know where she went. Okay, well, see you guys. And then they go on Facebook or wherever and they start looking for her. They start contacting her. You know, "Hey, Lindsay, where'd you go? You know, I want to follow you." Are you that kind of groomer? Are you a linchpin? Are you an artist? Or are you just doing what everyone else is doing? You know, your grooms look good. They're fine. But they're not that much different than what everyone else is doing. You know? Then you're just another cog in the wheel. You're not indispensable. But by mastering your craft, putting in the 10,000 hours, by really understanding how to deal with people, how to communicate effectively with others, you become indispensable. The kind of person that people will miss if you stop showing up. And that's pretty much the law of compensation. Let's see, Beanie, not even a little, we love you. Oh, thank you. Amber, wow, I just left for surgery and was paranoid a chick is trying to steal my job, but I put myself in a place to be indispensable. Nice. I do the board, pull cards, help fellow groomers. Exactly. You're not just another cog in the wheel. You're not just doing, you know, the work that anyone else can do. You know, you're going above and beyond. You're going that extra mile. And Brian Tracy says, always go the extra mile because you'll never find any traffic there, right? And you know, Seth Godin likes to bring up the example of Jackson Pollock. You know, we've all heard of Jackson Pollock, right? He does the drip painting. Now his older brother, most of us never heard of him, Charles Pollock. Charles Pollock, actually, if you Google Charles Pollock and look at his paintings, you'll be amazed. He's a great painter. He's very talented. But he's doing, I mean, it's not that much different than all the other realistic painters back in his day. They're all pretty much the same. They're all very talented and they're all very realistic paintings. But Jackson Pollock did something so different that it made him indispensable. It made him stand out of the crowd. And that's why nobody talks about Charles Pollock, because he did great work, but it wasn't that much different than what everyone else was doing either. So they all just kind of meshed together and you don't really remember Charles Pollock. But Jackson Pollock, personally not my style. I wouldn't pay millions of dollars. I wouldn't even pay hundreds of dollars for Jackson Pollock strip paintings, because it just looks like a kid just kind of sprayed, you know, dumped paint on the canvas, you know, all different kinds of ways. But people who really value it, and there's people who study Jackson Pollock's style, and their main job is to, you know, spot counterfeits, people that act paint pictures, I paint paintings like Jackson Pollock and try to pawn it off as a Pollock painting. There are people who say, that's not a Pollock painting because they studied his style and everything. So anyways, that's the importance of finding your unique style. Doing something a little different than everyone else so that you stand out of the crowd and you become someone that people remember. Tracy Trevino, you're making this very easy for me to understand. Awesome, awesome. Because I'm a very simple human being. I don't really do well with complex ideas, so I try to break it down to something simple that I can understand. And so hopefully it's simple for you guys too. Amber says, very great advice. Tracy, great late night motivation. Awesome. Lee, my last job turned into pure stress. Exactly, because you're working hard for something that you don't care about. That's called stress. But working hard for something you really care about, that's called passion. And it's something important to make note of. Either way, you're working hard. Might as well work hard for something you really care about, and that becomes passion. Okay, so let's talk about passion for a second. I think passion is being thrown around a little bit too much these days. I mean, it's a little overrated. Find your passion. Oh, I can't find my passion. Oh, I would work hard, but I can't find my passion. I don't feel motivated because I can't. It's like you don't find passion. Passion is not something, like you go outside one day and you come back like, oh my God, look at this. I found me some passion. It's delicious. No. Passion is not something out there that you find. If you want a job that you're passionate about, if you want to find your passion, just become more passionate about what you're doing. Just become a more passionate person. Someone who cares a lot about what they're doing. Become more passionate about what you do, and you will be doing something you're passionate about. It's like, rather than going and looking for a job or a type of work that will make you feel like you're full of passion, because that's rarely ever going to happen. Just become more interested and passionate about the work that you're already doing. Even if you're a plumber, there's a way to become passionate about your work and how you show up for your clients, really listening to them, and maybe even offering other options that other plumbers wouldn't even think to offer. Things like that. Becoming more creative in the way you do your work. That will help you become more passionate. And by becoming more interested in the work that you're doing, your work will become more interesting to you. They say that if you want people to become interested in you, you have to become interested in others, Anyways, so that's my little rant about passion. If you're a dog groomer and you're just like, man, I don't know where my passion is, and I don't know why I just don't feel passionate about this job. I'm just coming in and just watching all these dogs, and I'm just so worn out at the end of the day, and man, I just dread going into work the next day. Well, first of all, maybe it's time to seriously consider maybe this isn't the right work for you, and that's okay, I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just grooming is not really cut out for everybody, and I remember my wife was like, she was almost embarrassed to tell me like that she doesn't really like grooming. She hates it because it was hard for her to admit that because she loves dogs. And I was like, I love children. Doesn't mean I want to be a preschool teacher, or a pediatrician, doesn't mean that I don't love children any less. It's just maybe grooming dogs is not the right thing for you. Because it is very tough and very difficult, especially when dogs snap and cry and, all this stuff. I mean, they don't really stay still. They're not dolls, And so it really will test your patience some days. It really will. And then the clients, they'll test your patience on top of that. And grooming is very challenging in more ways than one. It's the most physically and emotionally demanding job I've ever had. Mentally, emotionally, physically demanding. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love how difficult it is because that's what makes it rewarding, right? I don't want it to be easy because easy is not rewarding. I want it to be difficult. I want it to be hard, and I want to do the hard work, you know, because it makes me feel so rewarded at the end of the day. Like, I did it, you know. I feel proud of myself. It's such a high. But anyways, but it's not for everyone, you know. It really isn't. But if you do decide, no, this really is for me, and I really can see myself becoming a really talented, skilled, confident groomer, well then, maybe try to be more interested in the things that you're doing. Like, what was her name? I think it was Amber. Like Amber, you know, rather than just come in and just sit around on your phone, you know, on social media and stuff when there's no dogs to groom, why not pull out cards for people? You know, study the books. You know, go and help out with the laundry. Walk other people's dogs. You know, spend some time around the dogs. Maybe start taking notes, you know, about other, you know, what other groomers are doing and how they're doing certain things, and start practicing. Maybe grab your scissors and do those wall exercises, you know, where you're going up against the wall, you know, and just doing the scissoring, working on that scissor control. There's so many things that you can do to become more interested in your craft, in your work. There's so many times where I worked at different grooming shops where I saw groomers, you know, one of them even, she was like, God, June, like, can you stop? And I was like, stop what? Because we had no dogs to groom. So I went and cleaned the self-wash area where you know, customers could come in and wash their own dogs. I went and cleaned that area down, you know, folded all the towels in there. And then I went over to the laundry. And I was like switching over the laundry, just getting caught up with that. You know, making sure the kennels and everything were clean in the back. I'm not getting paid for any of this. We're getting paid commission. But because I don't like to sit around and feel bored, you know? So I want to feel useful, and I was doing all this stuff, right? And then she was like, God, June, can you just stop? Because she was sitting on her phone, you know? And I was like, stop what? And she was like, I don't know, working so hard. And she was like, you're making everyone else feel bad. You're making all of us look bad. And I was like, I am so sorry. I was like, I'm not trying to make anyone look or feel bad. I was like, I just can't sit still. I was like, I just get bored. I can't just sit there and do nothing. You know, I gotta keep myself busy, you know? But anyways, because I'm really interested in the work. I want to learn every single part of it. Because if I'm gonna be a grooming instructor one day, or have my own school, or even have my own salon, I want to be interested in every single part of it. The laundry, the scrubbing down of the kennels, you know, making sure the drains are clean and clear of all that hair and everything, cleaning out the hair traps. I want to be intimately involved and knowledgeable about every single part of the grooming shop, you know, about the grooming salon. You know, and so I never thought of it as doing free labor. I always looked at it as research. You know, I'm doing research for my future. And that's the thing. So Jim Rohn says, always do more than what you're paid to do in order to make an investment in your own future. Always do more than what you're paid in order to make an investment in your own future. Now, in the Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles, he says it a little bit differently. He says, always give more in use value than you take in payment. I really like that. Always give more in use value, in practical value, than you take in payment. Barbie Wilkinson, and this is the Science of Getting Rich. Barbie says, now that it's out, I have a small crush. It's all good, whatever. Barbie says, people can tell when you love what you do and were meant for the life. Exactly. Groomer life. You ain't really about that life. No, I was kidding. Anyways, so that's the law of compensation. I hope it helps. I really hope it helps. Because I swear to God, the next person that messages me and asks, like, what shears should I use? What company should I use? Like, oh, such and such company, you know, like I would love to be an ambassador for them, a brand ambassador. You know, forget all that. Forget all that noise. You know, none of that is in these 3 laws of compensation. Nowhere in here does it say take a selfie with one of the big name groomers. You know, make sure you make sure you become a brand ambassador for a certain company. You know, make sure you hang out with the right clique of groomers, who the cool crowd. It's not in there. None of that is in there. You know, none of my clients have ever said, by the way, nice selfie with so, you know, Bina B. And I made a mistake. I had told Jay Scruggs, I went up to him at the Atlanta Pet Fair a few years ago, a couple years, I think 2-3 years ago. And this was right after I took a selfie with him and Suzeko at Super Zoo. And I was so excited, and I still am excited, you know. But I showed my clients, and they were just like, "Who is this?" Oh, they're like, "Oh, I'm happy for you, June. Good job, you know, good job." Because I'm showing it to them. They don't care. They didn't know who he was. And I told Jay Scruggs, but the thing is, I was telling him, we were talking about how there's all these reality shows for chefs, for outdoor survivors, for home fix-it shows. All of these different reality shows, and I was like, there's no good reality show for dog groomers. And I was like, you know, like I was telling Jay Scruggs, like, he would be perfect to be on like one of these shows for dog grooming, you know. And I was like, you've got the look, you've got the following, you know, you've got, you know, the reputation. And I was like, but it's such a shame that no one knows who you are. And I was like, you know, I mean, in the grooming industry they do, but I was like, I showed them, you know, our selfie that we took. I showed that to all my clients, or well, most of them, and they had no idea who you were. Ugh. You know, it's like foot in mouth. And as soon as I said it, I saw his expression, like, you know, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like, I can't believe I just said that to him. You know, I was like, I was like, no, what I meant, I was trying to cover it up a little bit. I mean, but I already knew, and I was like, I'll see you later. I just walked away. Oh man, but I shouldn't have said that. Oh man, and you know, the next day I saw him, we made eye contact, and he kind of turned around and he's just packing his stuff. He went the other way, and I was like, yeah, I probably deserve that. So lesson learned, when you meet one of your idols, one of the people that you look up to in the grooming industry, try not to tell them that no one knows who they are. Oh man. Bina says, if you ever get burnt out on grooming, I think you would make an excellent nurse. Just saying. Nurse? Maybe. I mean, I don't really do well around blood, and I don't like sticking needles in people. It really creeps me out. I don't even like needles being, I don't do well with needles or any of that stuff. I don't know. I think nurse really isn't for me. That's why vet, my mom even, when she was like, you know, if you really love dogs so much, why don't you go back to school and become a vet? At least then you'll be a doctor. And I was like, because I don't like needles, I don't like that, you know? I like being creative. I was like, I love what I do. I feel like an artist, you know? I'm working on a canvas that's alive, you know? And I'm creating artwork that moves, that's alive, that's a living thing. And you know, every single one of my grooms is like a walking advertisement for me, you know? It's like they're walking around looking so beautiful, and people like, wow, your dog's so beautiful, you know? It's like, I don't know. This is my thing, you know? And I just kind of fell into it, and I'm so glad. I mean, the thing is though, I think life prepares us for the next thing. Life is always preparing us. And so I really, when looking back on my life, I can see how every single thing that I've done so far has led me up to this right now. Even going door to door selling Christian books. It gave me the skills that I needed to communicate with people and create that rapport immediately, you know? There's way more to it than that. Nursing is totally an art. I'm not disagreeing with you, exactly. And Seth Godin would agree with you as well. He's saying anything can be an art. The way you do it, the way you provide the care for that person that you're taking care of, if they feel understood, they feel cared for, they feel like you're really trying to, you know, help them feel comfortable through whatever they're going through, that really is an art, and you are an artist. Lee says, I wanted to be a vet until I realized they have to put animals down. Yep, couldn't do that. Yeah, that would be hard for me too. Bina, but you found your jam, grooming, and I've learned so much from you. Wow, thank you so much, Bina. I really appreciate that. Lee says, Bina, you are so right. Nice. She is right. You can be a nurse and be an artist in the way that you do your work. You can be a painter and not be an artist because you're just replicating other artists' artwork. You're not really creating anything new. You're not being generous. You're not taking a risk. You know, Seth Godin was saying it's better to get fired because you try too hard to make a connection with the person you're serving, rather than get fired because you try too little to make a connection. You know, so that nurse that's opening herself up, making herself vulnerable to try to make a connection with that person who's hurting, she knows she's taking a risk because the person's in pain and they can totally shoot her down. But she's doing it anyways because that's the generosity of her nature, you know? That's the nature of her generous spirit. And she's doing it to try to make a connection with that person, even through their pain, to try to help guide them through it and help them feel some level of comfort. That nurse is an artist. But then there's other nurses who, you know, you felt it, I felt it in the hospital, you can tell they're just putting in their hours and they're just done with it. Teachers the same way. You know, when I was going to school, I can always tell the teacher who's just there to get a paycheck, who's just there to get her tenure or whatever, you know, so that she can retire. She doesn't even care, you know. But there's other teachers who you're just like, wow, like they really care about me. You know, this teacher really cares, and it's not even about the money. It's not anything. This teacher chose to be a teacher because they want to have a real impact on the lives of the children that they're teaching. There's in every profession, you'll see it. There are those who show up as an artist, who really want to give and create something beautiful. And then there's other people who show up just to make the paycheck. And the crazy thing is, the students can all tell. The parents can't though. Because those same teachers that just sit there and gripe and grumble and treat the students like, you know, just another cog in the wheel, and they don't care. And, you know, those teachers, they know how to turn it on when the parents are around, you know? So the parents usually can't tell who the teachers are who are just there to get a paycheck and who are there because they really care, but the students can tell. And I think the same thing with dog groomers too. You know, a lot of times dog groomers who you can tell they're burnt out, and you can tell they probably should find something else to do, you know, because they just don't care anymore. And the way they're handling the dogs, they're getting frustrated a little bit too quickly. Their fuse is short or gone, or, you know, non-existent. They pretty much have no more fuse, and every dog sets them off. And there are these groomers, you know, and the thing is though, when the parents come, when the dog owners come, they know how to turn it on, you know. So sometimes the clients won't be able to tell which groomer really cares and which groomer doesn't, but they can tell in the work. The work speaks for itself. The proof is in the pudding, and also how the dog behaves when they leave and when they come back, you know. The children can always tell, even though the parents may not always be able to. Bina B says, yes, been grooming 5 years, just finished nursing school this week. Wow! I just felt like where I'm supposed to be. And you have to listen to that inner feeling, you know, like you probably were meant to be a nurse, and the 5 years that you spent grooming dogs, it probably is setting you up. You know, everything that you learn and the patience that you had to practice with the dogs, and sometimes they nip and bite at you and growl at you and everything, but you just stay calm and patient, you understand, you know, try to be understanding. This is all probably preparing you for the experiences that you're gonna have as a nurse. When the person is in so much pain, they're cursing at you and saying things that are just very terrible, but you know they don't mean it. You know they're just in pain, you know, and you can be patient with them and understanding with them and make that real human connection with them, even through their pain. Maybe the 5 years of grooming is what's preparing you to be the artist who happens to choose to be a nurse, right? Nursing just happens to be your art form, but you're an artist. Lee says, I used to get reprimanded in my last job for spending too much time with a parent or student. Yeah, I mean, and that's, Lee, you knew that job really wasn't for you. Bina says, Lee, totally unacceptable. I feel that the time we spend with people makes them feel like they're worth our attention. Exactly. And they feel cared for. You know, anytime you provide a service in a way where people feel understood and cared for, it moves them. It really touches them, because it's so rare to get that kind of service these days. It really is, you know. So when someone shows up and you can tell they really care and they really want to understand what you're going through and they really want to help, it stirs something inside of them. Why do you think people share my stuff? And I mean, I'm nothing special. I'm really not. I fumble around. I say ridiculous stuff, but I think it's because, you know, I really try to understand what people are going through, and I try to understand them, because only when I understand what they're going through can I offer something of value. You know, how can I offer anything of value if I don't really understand what people are going through? So I listen, I take in all the questions, I let people know, let me think about this for a little bit, because I don't want to just give you a fluff answer. And then, you know, I really genuinely try to help, and I try to show people how much I care. And I think that's the only reason why everything has everything that I'm blessed with right now. I think that's the reason why, you know, it's because people can tell I really care. And that's the only redeeming quality about me, you know. Lee says, teachers have a high burnout rate. We lose them after 3 to 5 years, not because of students, but the administration. Perfect analogy for dog groomers. They say dog groomers have about 3 to 5 year shelf life. You know, after about 5 years, most groomers are done. And it's not because they don't like the work or they don't like the dogs. It's because the corporate structure sometimes, and sometimes how the shop is run. Some of these shops are owned and operated by people who never even groomed a dog before. They just bought the shop, and now they have groomers working for them, and they push these groomers too hard because they don't understand the work. They've never done it themselves. And so a lot of groomers, after about 3 to 5 years, they're done. They're burnt out. And it's groomer burnout is prevalent in the grooming industry. A lot of groomers are burnt out, and some of them don't even know it. Some of them think they're just stressed out and they're just depressed, but they're not. They're burnt out. And I had another stream, you know, where I talked about that. I even wrote an article about that, a blog article. Lee says, it was my job to help parents and students. And I bet you're the students that you helped, I bet they still remember you. Lee says, I get thank you notes from them at the end of the year. That's when I loved my job, when I was allowed to help people. Exactly. That's where all the reward is. You know, when I get messages from people telling me how much I helped them, I feel like maybe my existence here was worth it. You know, all the stuff that I had to go through, all the pain, all the suffering, the disappointment, the heartache, maybe it was worth it, you know, as long as I was able to be helpful to someone else. Abina said, it's been fun. Thank you for this, June. Unfading. Yes, I gotta go too. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great night. And shoot, let's do it again next time. Looking forward to the next one. Awesome. I don't know when the next one's gonna be. I just got this idea, so I just, you know, I don't know when I'm gonna stream next. But anyways, I appreciate everyone who has watched. I really appreciate your time, and yeah, let's do it again next time. I don't know when, but I'll see you next time.